These days I started watching regular show again, and putting aside the astronomical amount of adult jokes in the original language, which I didn't know about, just saying, watching it in Spanish, I came across a bunch of weird but relatively short mysteries that I never had the chance to investigate in a dedicated video. So, originally this was going to be a compilation video talking about 3 mysterious mysteries from regular show, but while researching it turned out that one of these mysteries was much deeper than I thought: Margarita's human father. This man you see on screen is Frank Smith, helicopter pilot, certified jacked dude, husband of Denise Smith, and father of Margarita Smith. We talked about him for the first time in the video where we explored the theory that Margarita is trans, which, now that I say it out loud, sounds pretty weird. But hey, it's even weirder that all red cardinals are male in real life, with the females having a sort of brownish coloration. Back to Frank, he appears several times throughout the series. And even though everyone treats him super normally within that universe, everyone who saw him on screen thought it was weird, which literally makes him the only human in his family, because his wife, daughter, nephews, and even father-in-law are all birds, as we see in the episode Family Barbecue. I mean, it's really weird that the whole family is made up of birds, and a lot of us decided not to think about it too much because it's just a cartoon. And we've even seen that Margarita has had human boyfriends, so it seems clear that it doesn't really matter much in regular show, and we should relax and stop overanalyzing everything. But relaxing and stopping overanalyzing everything isn't the reason you come to this channel. The first possibility that came to many of our minds, beyond the fact that it's clear that Frank is a damn degenerate for getting involved with an anthropomorphic bird. Should he be put in jail? Even though it seems like in this society they care very little about those kinds of things, it's that Frank isn't Margarita's biological father. A theory that's often supported by the fact that, first, nobody knows if that's even biologically possible, and second, by this portrait we see in the same Family Barbecue episode. This is a portrait that's found alongside several photos of Frank with Margarita. And since we see a father, a mother, and a daughter, all birds, we immediately assume that it's an old picture of Margarita's biological father, with her and Denise before he left the family for unknown reasons. That way, Frank would have come later and would be Denise's second husband. Without direct confirmation, it's impossible to know for sure, which is why many people also say that it's actually a picture of Denise, Margarita's mother, together with her own parents many years ago. Or some even say that it's a picture of Margarita herself with her grandparents. These two options are quite popular, mainly because of the old-fashioned clothes the two adults are wearing, and especially because of the woman's clothing. Not only does it look very old and doesn't match Denise's modern style at all, but Denise also never wears glasses in any episode of the show. This is mainly thanks to some interesting statements found in the following interview with J.G. Quintel, creator of Regular Show, by MTV shortly after the episode aired in 2013. So, JG, the Regular Show episode Family BBQ, had a lot of viewers asking a bunch of questions about how the biology of the show's universe works, with Margarita's father being portrayed as a human in a family full of birds. Is this something where we should just remind ourselves that it's just a show? Should I just relax? I do think so. It's really funny because I didn't think about it that way at all. I did see it online when the comments started coming in and everyone was saying, "What?" But Regular Show for me, I know everyone sees them as a blue jay, a gumball machine, a raccoon, a human, whatever, but to me, they're just people, so that's how they perceive each other. But it's not like they're a man and a bird, you know what I mean? But I know how people who are just getting to know the show for the first time could be taking it super literally, like, what? Basically, he went with a, "It's a cartoon, kid, stop bothering," which for many is an excellent answer since it reveals to us that for him, they're just people. So he probably just gave him that buff human guy appearance so he would look more intimidating and serious to the audience, and so we would feel just as intimidated as Mordecai did when he met him. But it's worth making it very clear that in no interview is it directly mentioned that Frank is Margarita's biological father. It's just something that many people believe based on this answer. But is it really an interview where he only says that when creating the show, whether they are animals or not doesn't matter much, since the writers see them as people and don't think much about that. But J.G. Quintel never confirmed or denied anything. That's where the mystery ends for most of the internet, but there's one last detail that personally caught my attention. We all know that his name is Frank Smith, and that Margaret is Margaret Smith, just like her mother, Denise Smith. It's logical to assume the last name Smith comes from Frank's family, especially if Margaret is his biological daughter. But during the family barbecue, Denise introduces her whole family of birds, among whom is Margaret's grandmother and Denise's mother, whom Denise introduces as Grandma Smith. It's a minor detail, but it directly and very easily confirms that the last name Smith comes from Denise's side, not Frank's, which suggests several interesting possibilities to us. In the United States, in recent years, only about 3 to 5% of married men have taken their wife's last name. And when Margaret was born, that is, in the early 1990s, that percentage was even lower. It was much more common for the wife to take her husband's last name, or for both last names to be joined with a hyphen in the middle, or for each person to keep their own last name. And considering that Frank Smith is a stereotypically traditional American father who is always talking about what a real man does and making similar comments, something here just doesn't quite add up. And I mean, the solution could be pretty simple. They could just be an ordinary nuclear family, but in a very strange way, and against his whole macho man persona, this man decided to take his wife's last name and let his daughter have it too, with a probability of 1 or 2% statistically speaking, remembering that was the percentage in the 90s. But besides the fact that it's almost impossible given the percentage, there's one last detail that makes me think the writers carefully indicated that the truth is something else. You see, when Mordecai is meeting Margarita's family in this very episode, Denise introduces everyone with Frank being the last. In the Spanish dubbed version, there's absolutely nothing strange, but in the original script, in English, Denise introduces Jack like this.
Nana Smith, Grandpa Jack, and over at the grill is Mark. And yes, Daddy!
It's not really a big deal, but it seems like she was going to introduce him as something else before Margarita interrupted. It's suspicious enough to leave you wondering if he's her biological father or her stepfather, like Denise seemed to want to introduce him, because she could have introduced him in any other way. And along with the thing about the last name, it gave me enough reasons to start considering an alternative. Another way for Margarita to have her mother's last name, and a much more common and plausible case than believing this guy was a hardcore feminist in the 90s, is that Denise had Margarita when she was a single mother. That way, she could have easily decided that Margarita should keep her mother's last name, and if she later met Frank, both of them would already have that last name well established in their small family unit. Under these circumstances, the chances that Frank would decide to keep his wife's last name increase considerably. And noticing that he has a big heart and adores Margarita as his own daughter, he might have simply wanted to do it out of his love for Denise and Margarita, symbolically changing his last name to become the father of the family. In fact, this could explain another interesting element in this and the following episodes where Frank Smith appears, which is that the paternal and human side of Margarita's family never shows up. Frank's extended family is completely absent from his life, but under this theory, it could be because Frank literally abandoned his previous last name, becoming a Smith to form a new family with Denise and Margarita. This, in turn, could give us a look at what several humans think about these kinds of relationships with anthropomorphic animals, because it's very easy to imagine that Frank's traditional human family wouldn't be very happy about him marrying a red bird with a daughter, forcing Frank to become a Smith if he wanted to build a life with Denise. Tragic and speculative, yes, but perfectly plausible. Or, as a third bonus option so stupid it could be true, Margarita is actually named Margarita Smith, and the theory goes down the drain. We'll never know. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe for more videos like this. Remember, nothing bad lasts forever, and nobody could put up with it forever, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.